In the heart of Paradise, Texas, a small, close-knit community, life moved at a peaceful pace. Families knew one another, children played freely in their yards, and the streets felt safe. But on November 30th, 2022, that peace would be shattered forever. 7-year-old Athena Strand, a bright and bubbly young girl, would be the victim of an unimaginable tragedy. Her disappearance set off a series of events that would not only change her family's life, but would raise profound questions about trust, safety, and the hidden dangers that can lurk just around the corner. It was an ordinary morning. Athena had gone outside to play, as children do, without a care in the world. Her parents, unaware of the storm that was about to hit, went about their daily routines. But soon, their world would be upended, as their precious daughter would vanish without a trace. At first, it was just a simple mistake. Perhaps Athena had wandered off to play with a neighbor or was hiding somewhere in the yard. But as the hours stretched on, that familiar sense of safety began to erode. Athena's parents searched their home, called her name out into the yard, but the response was silence. Panic set in, and what had once been a peaceful home was now filled with fear and uncertainty. Athena's parents, unable to locate her, immediately contacted the local authorities. Soon, the whole town was involved in the search. Law enforcement, neighbors, and even strangers, people who had never met Athena before, gathered in the hopes of finding her, of bringing her back safely. But the hours turned to days, and still, there was no sign of Athena. The search intensified, and investigators expanded their reach, going door to door, questioning neighbors, and reviewing local security footage. As the investigation deepened, they would uncover an uncomfortable truth. Someone from the community, someone who should have been trusted, was responsible for Athena's disappearance. It began as an ordinary delivery. Tanner Lynn Horner, a 31-year-old driver working for a national delivery service, arrived at the Strand home to drop off a package. There was nothing unusual about this visit. Athena's parents, like many others, had no reason to think twice about the man who delivered their packages. But little did they know, that moment would mark the beginning of a terrifying nightmare. Hours after the delivery, Athena was nowhere to be found. As investigators reviewed the footage from the delivery truck, they realized that the last person who had interacted with Athena was Horner. The mystery deepened. How could this seemingly innocent delivery man have anything to do with the disappearance of a little girl? The investigation took a turn when authorities focused their attention on Horner. He was initially questioned, and at first, there seemed to be no clear connection to Athena's disappearance. But something didn't add up. As investigators dug deeper into Horner's background, they uncovered disturbing details that would soon lead to the darkest part of this case. Horner, once just a delivery driver, was now the prime suspect. But it wasn't until Horner was confronted with the evidence that he confessed to the crime. In a chilling revelation, Horner admitted to abducting Athena. He had taken her from the yard, driving her away in his truck, hiding his actions with cold calculation. Authorities now understood the full scope of the tragedy. Athena had been taken, not in a moment of random impulse, but as part of a deliberate and horrifying act. Horner's confession sent shockwaves through the community as they tried to comprehend how a man who had entered so many homes delivering packages could turn into the very monster who took an innocent child's life. Despite the investigation's rapid progress, time was against them. Every minute felt like an eternity, and the search for Athena became more urgent. Finally, after days of anguish, Athena's body was discovered. The hope that had once filled the air now turned to grief and heartbreak. What had begun as a search for a lost child now ended in the discovery of something far more sinister. For Athena's family, the news was devastating. They had lost their daughter to a man they had trusted, someone who had been invited into their home. Their grief was immeasurable. How could the person they trusted to bring packages, to be a stranger who simply completed his job, betray them in the most unimaginable way? The loss of Athena left a hole in the hearts of her family, her community, and all who had followed the story. She had been a bright, shining star in the lives of those who knew her. Her family will never be the same again. The impact of her death went far beyond just her parents. It affected an entire community that had once felt safe. As Athena's family mourned, the community came together to honor her memory. A candlelight vigil was held, with friends, neighbors, and strangers alike showing their support. But for Athena's family, the loss was more than just the death of a child. It was the betrayal of a man they had trusted, the loss of their faith in the safety they once felt. In the wake of this tragedy, important questions arose. How could such a thing happen? How could a delivery driver, someone who comes and goes without notice, someone who interacts with families daily, turn into a predator? It left the community grappling with the fragility of trust, the dangers of everyday life, and the harsh reality that no one is truly safe, even in their own homes. As the legal process unfolded, Tanner Horner faced multiple charges, including kidnapping, murder, and other criminal acts. The courtroom was filled with anger, grief, and a desire for justice. Athena's parents had to face the man who took their daughter, knowing that no sentence, no punishment could ever bring Athena back. For them, there would always be an emptiness, a sense of loss that would never heal. This case raised significant questions about safety and trust. How well do we really know those we invite into our lives? The delivery driver who seemed harmless turned out to be a predator, someone who used his position to prey on an innocent child. It's a stark reminder that we must always be vigilant, not just about strangers, but about those we trust on a daily basis. Athena's story will never be forgotten. She may have been taken too soon, but her memory will live on. Her life was short, but it was filled with promise, joy, and love. Athena's legacy is a reminder that we must protect the ones we love and never take for granted the safety and trust we place in others. Rest in peace, Athena. You will forever be missed. Your story will continue to echo in the hearts of those who remember you, and your legacy will live on in the fight for justice, safety, and the protection of the innocent.